joining us for this KSAT Community live stream. Now today we are talking about the importance of high school mentorship. Now mentors are people who are willing to advocate for us and help us see the goals that we are reaching for that can become a reality. So it's through their guidance that we have the opportunity to become who we are meant to be. And having the right mentor can make all the difference and can help us see the opportunities and the possibilities that we have not realized yet. So joining us to share their experience as a mentor and mentee, we have Dalia Contreras and Isis Jimenez. Thank you so much. And we also have over here, we have Eddie Rodriguez, and he's going to talk about what KSAT Schools Network is doing to support high school students before graduation. Thank you guys for joining me today.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thanks for having us. Thank you so much. Yeah, so KSAT Schools is a nonprofit network of schools here in San Antonio dedicated to fostering our youth. Our mentorship program is geared towards to what you said earlier, really connecting students, connecting their dreams to and helping them make them into a reality, right? So their aspirations to realities, and it ranges from the idea of what can I be to I want to be a doctor, how do I get there? Right, and it ranges between students.
And I want to, going back to Dalia and Isis, you guys were, in a mentorship together. You were the mentor, you were the mentee. I wanted to tell us a little bit about yourself and what brought you both together right now.
Absolutely. So I work in education. I'm the CEO of City Education Partners, and we were invited by CAS to come to the 3 Years of Fear play. And Isis was actually a part of the student team. And at the end, the audience had an opportunity to ask questions. And actually, our First Lady, Erica Prosper, asked the students, what it felt like going from their neighborhood school to a choice school. And Isis' response, I felt like I was listening to myself when I was her age. So I reached out to Jean Russell and said, Jean, does she have a mentor? And that was in October of last year, and here we are today.
And then also, are there any new projects that you guys are working on right now?
I think right now a lot of the work we're doing is getting ready to start everything like transitioning into college. So just really nailing down all of my choices, like what I want to go into college for, and getting ready for that.
And speaking of that, you're going to be graduating soon. So what's next for you, and what do you hope following graduation?
So following graduation, I'm really hoping to go to a 4-year university. I want to pursue a bachelor's degree in business administration. So, and which is crazy now, more like specifically career-wise, I want to go into nonprofit organizations and doing that. Sure.
Do you have a list of colleges yet, or still thinking about it?
I'm in. As far as Texas, definitely, because I'm also applying to Questbridge, so hopefully getting into the national match. But as far as that goes, Rice University, looking a little bit at Texas Tech and a couple other small schools in Texas, but also a little bit outside of Texas, so Oklahoma, a little bit of New Mexico.
Well, we wish you luck. I wanted to go back and also to tell you, I know how, your side of how you got to the mentorship program, but how did you get into the mentorship program?
Well, a lot of our mentorship has been, in the beginning, I had no idea what mentorship was, honestly. So, in all honesty, I didn't know it was a good thing. I didn't realize how much of a blessing it was going to be. So, at first, Dalia reaching out and expressing that she's interested in doing that. At first, I was like, I don't think so, because I didn't know what it was. But then revisiting the idea back in October, and yeah, so just her constantly reaching out and seeing if it's something I was interested in.
Well, this is good. And well, Eddie, we're going to come back to you also, again, can you tell us again your role at KSAT Schools Network? And so KSAT Schools is a school reinvented, and what does that mean, and how are they helping students thrive?
Yeah, we're on a mission to reinvent learning to maximize opportunities for students. And that includes a lot what Isis just talked about herself, right? Making those connections, providing them with the resources. When they graduate high school, they have a plan. So throughout the whole 4 years, they really talk about self-identity, so 3 years of fear that Dalia mentioned. They advocate to speak up, speak out. There's many different ways, but what's key is connecting our students with a mentor to help elevate those discussions and to provide details and context, right? People don't, you know, I remember the first time I started CAST, Gene Russell asked me to hire an intern. And I was like, how can I, like, I'm not used to working with high school students, but once I started that program, I was amazed by the gifts they bring to the table, not only as they learn a skill that I'm teaching them, but what I gain as a person. We all want to do good. We all want to do great things in our lives, and to give something back to our youth. And I'll tell you one conversation with Jonathan. You know, we had a conversation after his internship, and he said, you know, I can't wait to, you know, do this internship again next year. And I'm like, well, let's take a step back, because you're talented. Why don't you explore other avenues? I'm here, but why don't you explore other opportunities and see what happens? Well, the next year he had an internship at HEB. The following year he had an internship at Amazon in Seattle. He just finished an internship with Adobe in New York City. So it's been, to see him grow from where he started to now, has been such an amazing experience.
That is neat, and also something neat to me is all the schools within CAST. And so there are 7 schools that fall under the CAST network. And can you touch on their areas of study?
Sure. So we have 5 career-themed high schools: CAST Tech in San Antonio ISD, along with CAST Med in San Antonio ISD, CAST Lead in East Central, Advanced Learning Academy, which is ISIS's school in SAISD, CAST STEM, and then CAST Teach in Northside, and CAST STEM is in Southwest ISD. So our schools were created in partnership with public school districts. So they're public schools, but anyone in San Antonio can attend our schools.
And that is a good thing there. So speaking of the schools here, are there any new or future plans or any of the schools in the coming school year?
Well, this year we just opened up CAST Imagine, a middle school, and again with the idea of having students explore the different careers. It's co-located at CAST Med, but the main purpose of the school is to expose them to any and all careers so they can imagine any future that they can imagine.
And let's discuss mentorship. How important is the focus of mentorship for all the CAST schools?
Here's what I'll say is that, you know, I mentioned earlier that all of our schools are career-themed schools, right? So students choose our schools based on an idea or a passion they have, whether like Jonathan, who wanted to pursue user design, or Maya, who wants to be a future educator and she's attending CAST Teach. So they're coming to us, you know, to at least take the first step in what they believe is what they want to do after they graduate. And so our role is to provide them with internships, provide them with job shadowing opportunities, in addition to rigor academics, right? But it's giving them the opportunities to kind of try what they think they want to do, because that way they know if they really want to do it or not. And when they go to college, they're like, yes, like I'm going to study this, right? And so, but where the mentors come in is kind of provide those little nuances that can make a big difference, right? You know, our triumphs are treasures, but so are our woulda, coulda, shouldas, right? Mm-hmm. Because like, why have our youth go through the same mistakes that we did? Why not give them kind of shape their pathway so that they can pursue with all their might what they want to achieve?
And I think you find that a lot with a lot of the mentors that volunteer.
Yes.
You know, and exactly for students getting ready to graduate from high school and taking that next step. Now, whether that step is college or even the workforce, that can be pretty intimidating. However, having a mentor to guide a young student can help. CAST Tech High School is in its 7th year of hosting their mentorship program. And while the program has been successful, they are looking for more mentors to help more students. So here's a story of a former student from CAST who is in college now and still looks up to her mentor for guidance.
I was a biology major, and then after that year I was like, yeah, maybe this is not the right path for me. So I switched it to early childhood education with a bilingual certification.
Kimberly Samuels is now a senior at Texas State University, but just a few years ago she was a student at CAST Tech High School, and she credits her mentor, Christopher Flores, for her success.
The guidance and the support that I had from my mentor was just like amazing. I didn't have too much support at home with exactly everything I wanted to do, so having that extra support was just so helpful. He guided me through so many things in college, even like just applying.
Kimberly and Christopher were paired through the KSAT Mentorship Program in 2019. And even after the program and after Kimberly graduated from high school, she still reaches out to Christopher.
You don't get into these things expecting anything in return. I did get a lot in return from Kim, but you don't go in thinking that. Primarily, I truly believe that if God's given you the ability to do things, you have the responsibility to go exercise.
We would talk about getting ready for college. We would do also talking about like career.
The KSAT Mentorship Program sets aside time for high school students to meet with their mentors so they can help them prepare for college and their future careers.
Societally speaking, you're an adult, right, when you graduate. But I can say even in my late 20s, I didn't feel like an adult. So I think a lot of it, I feel like a lot of it was just these random life things that pop up, and how do I think through them, how do I work through them, how do I make a decision and own it, you know, for better or for worse. Every school, public, private, charter, it doesn't matter. Every employer, every college, every university, I think needs to have a program like this.
For Kimberly, she says the program, and Chris, changed her life.
Honestly, I can say like I don't know what I would do if I didn't have Chris going with me, being with me through this whole process. He's truly changed me as a person as well.
And after years of mentoring Kim, Christopher tells us he doesn't see Kim as a mentee anymore. He says they think of each other as family. Well, Christopher did mention that he didn't go into this mentoring program expecting to get a lot in return, but once he started the mentorship program, he did get a lot out of it, and there was obviously something valuable that he took away from being a mentor. Well, Dalia, you know, as a mentor, did you kind of have a similar experience?
Absolutely. I would say I got a lot out of meeting with ISIS personally and professionally. Personally, it just reminds me, you know, for all people, we all need somebody in our corner talking us through tough situations. So like that, you know, advocacy and partnership. ISIS has come to shadow some of our team meetings, and we always ask her, you know, ISIS, what did you see and hear? And her perspective on what she's seeing and hearing is really powerful. And I would say as an educator and someone who works in education, it's a way to stay close to what's happening in the classroom and at the school level, because I know what we think's happening in schools, and then I talk to ISIS about ISIS, you know, what is this curriculum like, or what did you feel with these changes in teaching, or how is this different element coming up? And there's that student perspective, which is really powerful and helps me in my job have that grounding on what's happening in the classroom today.
And what drew you to becoming ISIS's mentor? Was there a similarity in her background or career choice?
I grew up in the same neighborhood that ISIS grew up. We would have ended up going to the same high schools had she not gone to a choice school and had I not moved. We had a very similar story, and just when she was sharing about her experience, she actually talked about imposter syndrome. And I remember texting Jean and saying, I've, you know, dealt with that a lot, you know, not only as a young adult and adolescent, but even today. And I said, I'd love to be her mentor. Does she have one? So I just felt like when I was talking to ISIS and hearing her story, I was hearing myself. And I felt like I could share a lot of what's been helpful to me to help ISIS on her journey.
Well, it looks like it's been a great partnership so far. Well, ISIS, you know, is there a type of bond or relationship that connects the mentor and the mentee? What do you feel about that?
Well, I don't know. I can't speak for everyone, but I think I know our relationship is very unique in the way that it's the support that I get from Dalia, and the relationship we have isn't only school, it isn't only, you know, college, it isn't only what's coming after, but a lot of like today and any of my troubles or my worries, I know that I have someone to call, and I can, you know, confidently say I have that person behind me. It's really nice. So definitely like that support is there, and so I think that is a huge part of our relationship.
That is awesome support, like almost like family, like Chris and Kim were saying. And you know, yes. Eddie, can you talk about how becoming a mentor can help build that cross-generational relationships?
Well, yeah, definitely. I think you know, I've known Isis for a number of years, and to see how she's grown, and to see how the person that she's becoming with Dalia's help has been so amazing. And I think what mentors can continuously do, this is about building a relationship, right? It's gonna, you're gonna learn your nuances at the beginning, and then the further you go, the more conversations you have, the more layers you're going to discuss, right? Whether it's about building confidence, whether it's about learning a new skill, or even just making connections outside of your sphere.
I'm going to go back to Isis real quick. So Isis, how would you describe your experience in the CAST Speed Mentorship Program overall? So how was having a mentor, how does that make you feel?
Having a mentor is definitely, it's a whole lot of security in my opinion. Security in knowing that there's someone that's there to echo my needs, and definitely having the best in mind for me and my interest.
You like the mentorship, the Speed Mentorship Program overall?
Yes.
So I think what she just shared is pretty powerful. Imagine if every high school student in our community felt that way, supported, empowered.
It would be.
I agree.
Speaking from my experience. Yes. I mean, and that's great that they're getting that, this early. And for me personally, that program wasn't around as well.
Yeah.
I met somebody later in life when I was in college, and even that little piece of guidance was helpful for me. So this program, just learning more about it and all the opportunities and all the students that have been able to take a part it's really neat. And a special thank you to all the mentors because taking time out of your schedule and making room, like not only just time but also making room in your heart for somebody else. It's an awesome program, and again, making your way into the workforce or college or both can be really challenging for high school students, and some guidance from someone who has already gone down that path can be super helpful. So KSAT Tech High School's mentorship program has been pretty successful so far in preparing students for the real world. And one success story is high school student Madison and her mentor Jennifer. So let's take a look.
What happens after high school, what happens after college, or what happens, once you get into the real world, because it really is like a light switch. From one day to the next, you're a student, and the next day you're an adult in the community. And I know for me, back when I was in high school, just that happened so fast.
Jennifer Solis currently works for Accenture Operations in San Antonio. However, she tells us when she was in high school, she felt she was not prepared for the next step. And that prompted her to become a high school mentor with KSAT Tech High School to help other students prepare for their future.
When I heard about it, I was super interested. I really wanted to go off of my own high school experience and how I was not so prepared to enter the adult world, and I really just wanted to give back and try to help them. Like, hi, Solis!
Through the KSAT Tech Mentorship Program, Jennifer was teamed up with Madison Garcia, who at the time was a freshman at the school.
How was it to have Miss Elise as your mentor?
It was a very, very fun experience. Like, I was super amazed by how prepared she was, and it helped me a lot along the way. So I was really appreciative of that. Thank you.
The mentorship program introduces students to the workforce, so when Jennifer and Madison would have their mentor session, Jennifer included a resume workshop for her students.
One thing that was really important to me was to show them how to take the classes and courses that they're doing here, specifically at KSAT Tech, the skills that they're learning, and be able to put that on your resume as skills that you have, because just because you don't have the job experience doesn't mean you don't have the skills to do the job.
She helped me a lot with my resume. I did not know one single thing about making a resume, and she made like a whole planner. She made everything super, super duper simple, and it just felt refreshing to know that I had a good place to start off my year.
Just talking to Maddie right now, and she was telling me how she used my resume template to get a job, and she got hired at HEB, and they said that they were very impressed with her resume.
This is the one that
Madison is now a junior at KSAT Tech High School, and she works at HEB.
Congrats to Madison again, and a very important tidbit that Jennifer mentioned in the opening is how fast her life moved from high school and through college, and she said she didn't feel prepared as a student back then, and yet that is what prompted her years later to become a mentor. So Eddie, tell us a little bit about the identity of the mentorship program and how it offers support and guidance for the mentor and the mentee.
Yeah, so we have tools for mentors when they start, from starter questions to conversation starters, etc., to activities to get that relationship going between the mentor and the mentee. We have an on-campus support, so each school has a person focused on partnerships, and so they take on the lead role in working with the mentors to make sure they're prepared for these conversations.
Absolutely. And is there any special training needed to be a CAS mentor? There might be some, people out there who, like, I'd like to be a mentor, but I don't think I have what it takes.
Yeah, I mean, I think I said it earlier. Like whether your triumphs and your woulda, coulda, shouldas, they all bring value to the conversation. And I would say, just give it a try. If you've ever thought about it or had a tinkering, at least come have a conversation at our schools. All of our schools have a partnership lead, a partnership coordinator who can talk to you about and develop a customized program, whether you just want to give feedback on a project to actually having a full-fledged mentorship.
Well, going back to you, Dahlia, the thought of becoming a mentor, kind of like along the same lines, could leave some adults, feeling a little uncomfortable or maybe like unprepared. But you did it and continue to do it here. So could you tell us in your words what it takes to become a good mentor?
I think it takes love. You just want, if you're willing to love somebody and meet with them and get to know them, and you don't need to be perfect, you don't need to have a certain resume, you don't need to, have had a certain career or make a certain amount of money. You need to care genuinely about our youth, take the time to get to know them, spend the time thinking about how you might be able to be helpful to them, and then leverage all the tools and resources you have. I always tell ISIS I'm going to use the extent of my relationships, tools, and resources to help elevate you to where you want to be. I love what you said earlier about mentorship. Like, everyone is meant to be someone, and how can we help our youth ensure that they get there? Having that additional person in your life, it takes a village. And Isis's mom is amazing, and we talk all the time, and she always says it's fun co-parenting with you because we're both really, we are in her corner, in her cheer squad.
And I kind of already know the answer to this, but just in general, like, was there ever a level of commitment that you felt you couldn't commit to as a mentor? When you start spending time with youth, it's addictive. Yes. They are incredibly drawing. You want to be a part of their lives. You want to go to their events. And so I think, a lot of people, I'm the CEO of a company. I also have my own life and family. I'm involved in my church. I have a whole life. And there was always room for ISIS in it. And the more you spend time with youth, the more you realize just how incredibly special they are. You will carve in that time, and you'll make a commitment to doing it. Well, we just showed you about the story about Jennifer and Madison. Well, as Jennifer's mentee, Madison said that she got some help, and that help earned her a new job. So, ISIS, what does a mentor mean to you?
I think there's a lot that makes up a mentor, but definitely being someone's like giving guidance, a whole lot of guidance, and a whole lot of support. I think those are like the two biggest things that make up being a mentor, for sure.
And on that note, can you share with us any takeaways or important lessons that you learned with Dahlia?
The first one would have to be to answer my emails.
That's important.
Yes, because I did not before. But in all honesty, actually remembering that I have a village and that it's okay to reach out to them and ask for help. Always ask for help, and that without saying anything, without asking for that assistance and that support from the people around you, they only do so much. So definitely reaching out and asking for help.
Well, let's talk about your Speed Mentoring Match Day. There are several upcoming events in October. So for people at home, what is Speed Mentoring Match Day and how does it work?
Oh, it's a great opportunity for anyone who's ever been interested in mentoring or exploring mentoring to come to each of our schools, meet with different students, and hopefully after having those conversations, may consider more of a long-term mentoring relationship.
For sure. Well, speaking of that, who can get involved?
So anyone who get involved, each school is career themed. So of course, like KSAT Tech is looking for user designers, anybody in IT, digital, STEM is looking for engineers, teachers, feature educators. If you visit castschools.com, we have a listing. But anyone who who wants to share their gifts with our students, there's multiple ways to do that. And you know, we're excited to share that we just recently learned that we received a $100,000 grant from USAA to support this great work that we're doing, and we're so appreciative of that.
That is awesome. You know, going back to you real quick, Dahlia, and you know, Isis, have either of you been involved in any of these events before?
We actually have not, but we highly recommend it. You know, after our experience, I would urge anyone in the city that has, you know, the heart for it, like Eddie said, go out there and try it and you'll figure it all out. And likewise to students, you know, raising their hand and saying, hey, I heard about mentors, I want one, how do I get one? Because, you know, we all have mentors and you never stop having a mentor. Once you see the power of mentorship, it takes you up until you're, you know, 40s and probably higher.
Well, the bond will last forever.
Yes, that's for sure.
Well, you know, speaking of that, support from a mentor helps high school students to grow the skills and the abilities that they are still trying to discover. So mentors who demonstrate and share their own experiences expand the options for the high school students before entering the workforce. So to learn more about CAS schools and how to become a mentor for the CAS Speed Mentoring Program, you can just visit this web link right now on your screen. It is also, you can visit ksatcommunity.com for more information on all of these programs. And Eddie, one last question. I know, you know, we've talked about the benefits of being a mentor, being a mentee, and the mentorship program, but let's say there's someone out there and they weren't sure about mentoring, but they do want to support the program and they want to help.
So our model, how students learn at our schools is what we call authentic learning. They learn they tackle real issues to learn real things, right? And so if you're not ready to mentor somebody, just visit our schools. We always want feedback on the projects that students are working on. We actually are getting ready for our annual civics fair, Speak Up, Speak Out. It's a regional civics fair where students pitch their ideas, and we're always looking for judges to listen to these ideas, to give feedback to these ideas, etc. So.
We thank you guys for joining us, all of you. Thank you, Eddie, Dahlia, Isis. Thank you for what you do. And as we close out, we are going to hear from another mentor and her mentees. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
I heard about the mentorship program here at CAS Tech through the advertisement.
I was motivated to be a mentor at CAS Tech because I felt a really strong connection to the school.
But then with this mentorship, I started realizing I can grow as an individual.
You build your personality and yourself in a mentorship. Then when you're in an internship, you're just growing your technical side.
You're learning how to be a human being. Not only that, growing your values and seeing where it can guide you in the future.
The mentor is less interested in how to build a resume, although we do that, and is more interested in holding space for personal development.
What it means to me is somewhere I'm in a safe space and I can rely on one another and grow together as a unit.
You have Isaias talking about what he's going on. You had Satali when she was a part of ours talking about what she's going on. You have Miss Horn. Everyone has different ideas, perspectives, experiences, and you just get more from those conversations than you do just a one-on-one.
There's nothing that you missed. There's nothing that you relate to. You're right where you need to be.
Knowing that you have a purpose. You're here for a reason. You're walking for a reason. You have a purpose. You're moving with intention.
My values are success, strength, and love.
I want to take this opportunity to thank Isaias and Jason for the opportunity to be their mentor. I wish you all the luck in the world in your future, and I can't wait to continue to be your mentor for as long as you'll have me.